Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Mosher and Adam Caplan. Sigh, I say, because it is once again after an Eagles loss, and I know that Eagles fans are disappointed and upset. And, man, you know, Adam, we had a really good – I thought we had a great game breakdown show, a game preview show at Goose Island Brewhouse in Fishtown. You, me, Trey Thomas, Greg Cosell. And for like 3/4 of this game, there were so many things that happened that we analyzed and said we thought was going to happen.
We nailed it.
And then the tables turned.
So
and by
crazy.
the end, the Eagles had a chance to at least tie, and who knows after that. So, let me start with this.
Sure.
Kind of a big picture look, because I feel like there's two different ways you can go with this game. It is a loss, no matter what. It's a loss. Yep. They're 1-4-1.
Sure.
I think one way is to say, wow, you know, for the second straight week, this team exceeded the expectations, showed a lot of fight when the chips were down.
Yeah.
Did better than maybe people thought. And now that they're past the rough part of the schedule, you can look at the Giants game, Dallas, which is on a different quarterback, the Giants again, the softer part of the schedule, and say there's a chance now to keep making these improvements and get yourself to 500 over the next 3 weeks. Or, real quick.
Yeah.
There's the other way of looking at this game, which is that they were dominated for 75% of the game. And while all the things I said about fighting and grit and chance are true, it's not necessarily the game that you put up on the refrigerator. You're still 1-4-1, and you're still going through injuries, and you're still, you know, having issues, and you can't play 25% of the game and just feel satisfied with what you did at the end.
Correct. So we could say all we want about, it looked bad, like they were going to get blown out through the first half. It looked like an absolute blowout, that they had no chance. As I said, really all week, I don't know how they're going to score. Well, it sure looked like I was going to be right. The funny thing was, I said to you, I don't know, Thursday or Friday in text or in phone, I said I think it's going to be 30-0. And I said I didn't want to be harsh and say they're going to get shut out. Maybe they'll score 14 points. So I went 24-14 or something like that. 27-17. I don't know. Whatever I said, it's because I know they have heart. That's the one thing. And the real encouraging point here. And you're talking about the fight that they had against two of the NFL's best defenses, top 5 defenses, just about every category. They averaged 28.5 points, Geoff. Most weeks you're going to win with that. That's the good part, despite all their injuries. And their injuries, for the most part, are on offense, not on defense.
And I'll say something that sounds ridiculous, but I do think is somewhat true, in that I know they give up 30 points, but the defense played better than I thought it would play, if that makes any sense.
Against the pass, they did. Sure, against the pass.
Yes, against the pass. And even against – well, no, you're right. They were gashed a little bit in the running game, but Lamar only had one really big back-breaking run. Of course, that's all sometimes you need is one back-breaking run. And he had maybe one or two of those that really sealed it in. But, again, it's like like you said, if you play this style of game against any of your next 3 opponents, there's a good chance you're going to win. But the problem is, and I'll ask you before we kind of start to really break it down, do you believe that the 2 touchdowns that they score in the fourth quarter to make it close there were a result of great execution and things coming together, or the Ravens kind of packing it in when they were up, 30-14 at one point, right?
Yeah, it's hard to keep a team that has this quarterback, number 11, Carson Wentz, down for a full game. Mm-hmm. His heart is incredible. I'll say this about him and his mechanics, and we've knocked him for that. We had Ron Jaworski on, if you missed it, on ITB TV this last week. And Greg Cosell and Trey Thomas have broken down Carson for us for several weeks now, and you and I, with our own eyes and the people we talk to, we could say all we want about the accuracy issues and mechanics, but in the end, and you made a great point, probably one of the best points in this market, if he just plays average football, above average football like he usually does, they're probably going to win more than they lose. Now,
right.
I don't blame him for the first half, okay? Their line couldn't protect anything or anyone in the first half.
Right.
We'll get in Jamon Brown, and people want him out. Yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta admit though, I was wrong.
We all were.
I was wrong about him being better than Pryor.
But you kept yes.
I know it's just one game though.
Right. Yes, and should get back to Wentz. So Captain Courageous. I mean, the shots that he's taking, and for the people who thought like, oh, he shouldn't put all that weight on. Do you think it's working now? It's getting killed.
He's not going to make it through the season.
I mean, thank God he put that. He's up to 250. He needs that bulk, so that's a good thing. And he's pretty beat up. But overall, the one thing they could hang their hat on is they never give up. They're not a kind of team that they're 1-4-1. You would think they get blown out of every game. No, because sure they're shorthanded. A lesser coaching staff would not be able to get what they're getting out of this quarterback. Or the quarterback is getting more from himself because of his heart. They play hard for the quarterback and the head coach. They play hard for themselves and their teammates, and they came back. I give them credit. So to answer your question, it's always hard in the National Football League to keep teams down. It's probably some of the way that the Ravens let up a little bit. Their inability to get any big plays in the pass game, because we said in our pregame show that Slate's going to lock down Hollywood Brown pretty much. He did in this game. They didn't give up any plays. The crosser on Willie Snead, who's their slot receiver, you'll give that up. That it is what it is. I didn't like the first down to Duvernay on the first drive, where they want to stack. They want to stack on the left side, and because they got predictable coverage, the Eagles were off coverage, and they literally could have. Greg Roman knew exactly what he was getting, and he threw it to Duvernay and got the first down. And this is my issue with that defense is. Too soft, man. Too much room. They gave up too much room. I get they're not trying to give up any deep balls, but they still gave up 30 points. The defense is shorthanded at linebacker, at corner. The offense is shorthanded almost everywhere. For those of you who didn't hear what Geoff said in the pregame and also in our preview pod, if you hear the name Brett Toth, that's not a good thing. That means he played.
Yeah.
And he did.
He did play, and it was not a great day for the offensive line. All right, to go back to your point about Carson being Captain Courageous and how the team is fighting a lot harder and looking more competent even in losses, I present to you the Eagles' next opponent, the Giants. If you go look, most people say they're one of the laughing stocks of the league. They just got their first win. They're 1-5. But go look at their schedule. There's a 4-point loss to the Bears, who are 5-1. There's an 8-point loss to the Rams, a 3-point loss to the Cowboys, and even the Steelers. They played pretty tough. I think a late touchdown.
First game, Their defense.
That was only a 10-point loss. So
they've turned their defense. The Giants have turned their defense around under Patrick Graham, their D coordinator, who is a Belichick disciple. So they are competitive. But
that's my point is they're 1-5 though. You don't look at these games and say, oh, well, they're really fighting hard and that's good for them. No, it sucks. They're 1-5, just like the Eagles are.
Well, they have no firepower because their offensive line is horrendous and the quarterback's playing poorly. Where Carson Wentz is playing in this game, he got his ass kicked because they couldn't protect him. But yet he's so strong physically and he's so strong mentally. He brought the team back. 22 points in the fourth quarter. Now you could say all you want about coverage, but points are points. And, the big picture, Doug Peterson seems like every game he has a couple gaffes, mental gaffes,
right?
Which we typically don't see from him. The one of the very underrated facets of him being a good head coach is he rarely wastes timeouts. Which, do you remember when the first thing my buddy Joe DeCamera said from WIP when Doug took over is that he thought this is going to be a real problem. Because he's an Andy Reid disciple. We know how Andy has been with timeouts and time management, but Doug's actually, for the most part, been terrific with it. It's just a situational football, when to go for two or not to go for two, give you a chance to understand the situation and the time of game. That one bothered me, and I know fans, I just checked on social media and our Facebook board, man, people are pissed off, and rightfully so.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't like when he went for two against the 49ers either, and I didn't.
Well, you know why.
So just because they won doesn't mean that decision in itself was a great decision.
No, you talking about the one where they came out. Was that the first drive? Because he didn't go. He was that was the first drive of the game because he wanted to show that he was aggressive, right? Isn't that what happened?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was very early in the game.
It was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. That's a sign. Okay, see, I told you I could be aggressive. I mean, Doug.
So right, because I have a problem with. I like aggressive Doug. I think you do too,
Yeah,
but I have a problem
sure,
with the mixed messaging and the inconsistency of it.
Right.
So
That's it. Thank
if
you.
you did
You
it
said it
against
better
the
than I did.
49ers, right? If you did it against the 49ers on your first touchdown and you got the 2 points, even though you didn't need it at that time, what is stopping you from doing it every single time you score the first touchdown?
Sure.
Where is the situation?
Right. Or, I'm waiting for the head coach who goes for 2 every time. But we'll get in it. All right. So we might as well get, those are my opening thoughts. I thought Wentz and Travis Fulgham does it again. I mean, we'll get to the receivers, but there were some strange situations in the first half, which we're going to explain that from Sunday night. I talked to some people who pointed some stuff out to me I was not aware of.
Oh, okay.
But overall, pretty good heart from this football team, and I think you should be proud of that. And I'm sorry about the injuries, folks. I put the injuries out on Twitter and on our Facebook page. Rough. It's an absolute bloodbath. It's actually, by the way, it's, if you can believe this, but I track this stuff. It's way worse than last year at this time.
I believe that. It does feel like this is absolutely worse, especially for the offensive line. Yeah. Last year, it was seemingly more a cornerback and receiver, if I can remember. Now it's cornerback, receiver, offensive line, safety, and corner. So, just all that. And even linebacker, they were down a couple of those. So, man, they really need help in the worst way.
In 3 days they play. Wait,
and that's
Monday.
That's right. That's the good news, bad news scenario. The good news is they play the Giants. The bad news is who's going to be on is Brett Toth realistically going to be starting at right tackle?
I mean, Driscoll couldn't return. This is, I'll tell you what, let's get into it, Geoff, the Eagles offense. So might as well get started. Here's the issue. Now, I Sunday night I was just getting some intel, and I want to get some opinions because I can't watching TV copy. It's so difficult to tell. It really is. So I want to know kind of how they came out. I look like Richard Rodgers was playing early, and I was correct, but I didn't quite understand what that impacted. So they were playing a lot of 12 in the first half. That is why Travis Fulgham did not play a lot until probably the middle of the second quarter. Plus, he didn't have a target till the middle or late second quarter. So that's why you didn't see him, because I know people were asking me on Twitter, and I couldn't tell.
Right, it was hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell off TV copy. So that was why they did it. That's so because I asked everyone on our panel, you and Cosell and Trey Thomas, did they come out 11 or 12? And Trey said 11. I thought 11, but they came in because they were so concerned about. I think here's what I think: if they would have had all 5 offensive starters, they're going 11 all day. Mm-hmm. With that offensive line beat up as it is, and they're 1 injury away from going to Brett Toth. They were and did. You want to try Richard Rodgers early, just get him on the field to block. Okay, that's what they did. Didn't work very well. They got their ass kicked, but that's what they tried.
Right, and to be fair, I think they would have got their ass kicked in 11 or 12. I mean, the Ravens defensive front came. They showed up. They did an excellent job. I said in the pregame show that whenever this team plays against Calais Campbell, and he's played for like 4 or 5 different teams, right? He's played for Jacksonville. He's played for Arizona. He's played for somebody else. Who else has he played for?
Cardinals, Jaguars.
Arizona, Jaguars. I thought there was another team in there. Okay, I thought there was another team.
Just that I know of 3, but
feels like he ruins the game every time he's in it. He's long. Yeah. He gave a lot of problems to Jamon Brown.
Yeah.
And
Jamon Brown. What? Look, I understand that this is a tough front. Okay, I get that. But that was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it was.
That was I didn't need to see the all 22 for. We all saw it. Not every play was on him, but it was bad. They got muscled in the interior.
Right.
Trey and Cosell really broke it down, folks. If I cannot implore you enough to watch our pregame show. They're brilliant. In fact, one show we should just turn it over to them. In fact, we did. By the way, Geoff, we turned it over to Trey and Greg. For about 10 minutes, they broke down the Nate Gary play when he got beat for the touchdown winner against Claypool.
Right.
It was highest level football talk I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Show. I enjoyed it.
I was in awe, and we so thanked the quotes. Everyone was blown away. We were getting such phenomenal feedback. I mean, it warms our heart. I mean, it's just. This is what we were hoping for. We never planned it, and it was just amazing to me. And by the way, we don't script the show. We have a format. It's not like, okay, you talk here. Geoff sets us up. and then we just say whatever we want, and it's unscripted. So that was phenomenal television, and I learned so much. And the way they broke it down is they would attack the Eagles' protection, and they would bring sometimes overload. They brought three or four defenders on the tackle side, or they would attack the guard. And there was nothing these inexperienced players can do, Geoff. They got what we thought they would get. That's why I thought they would probably get blown out. I never saw them coming back. But the Eagles have severe problems right now in their offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, all you need to know is that the Eagles had -7 total yards after their first 6 possessions. At that point, the game was already 14-0. I thought the defense held them to the point where the Eagles could be in the game.
Sure.
There weren't a ton, like you said, the two weapons that Baltimore had that you thought would be a very bad matchup for the Eagles, and we'll get into defense in a minute, were Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews, and neither of them exploded on the Eagles. It was just kind of it was more of a time of possession battle and a steady movement of the chains that they had. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the frustrating element, because there were plays to be made on offense in the first half, Adam, that weren't made. I thought Carson hung in there, made some pretty tough throws. Oh. Clearly, what you can see even on the TV copy was that the Ravens were putting 7-8 guys in the box, saying, "I don't believe in your downfield game,
and you can't
make us believe in
running it. You can't run
right." Right. So you crowd the box, saying, "You can't do anything to us." And what Carson did, as a good quarterback would do, was he took advantage of those one-on-one matchups on the outside, and he put a well-placed ball that should have been in the hands of John Hightower.
What a great throw. Oh, my God. That right his damn hit. Hightower is – I'm going to be gentle about this. He's a 5th NFL receiver. I get it. They only could dress 5 because 3 guys are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Arcega-Whiteside is not a guy you could depend on. We've been there. We've done that. We don't need to talk about it. Sword could only play in the slot. He's a short area guy, does get open. It's to this point. And why do you think Wentz feeds Fulgham the way he does? He's reliable. Yep. That's why he gets the football. I don't blame Carson Wentz for doing that. He should. The kid's a stud. This is an unbelievable find for them, Geoff.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know what? Credit to Carson for going back to Hightower in the second half, because that was a play that wound up being a really big game. The second bomb that he threw to Hightower. I'm going to read you this quote that he was asked about Sunday. He was asked, Carson, after the game, about his connection with Fulgham. Absolutely. He's a baller. I said last week, I see it in practice. It's good to see these guys get their chance to make plays. There was 0 blitz a handful of times today, and I just looked to him. That was just because that's what you were saying. They were bringing it, and he got one-on-one matchups. It's exactly you nailed it. It's exactly what he got. Yep. He trusted him. Remember, they did that to Carson last time they played him rookie year. Remember, Carson came back on them, and the game ended with a touchdown, and then they went for 2. Carson threw to Jordan Matthews. It was incomplete because they 0 blitzed them right there at the 2-yard line. The Ravens are known for doing that, selling out, going after you. And so they did it again, left the guy open, and Hightower's got to make that catch. Yeah, he's a 5th receiver. I'll say this, though. The mere fact that he can get open makes me at least encouraged that with good offseason, with some training, with some coaching, he can probably give you more than you've seen from J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Look, I'm not even – it's not even –
I know you're not comparing. I'm just saying at least there's some light at the end of the tunnel here.
Sure. Look, he can run. Hightower. He can run. He had a very good training camp. So the guy's skilled. Okay, that's good. But this is the difference between training camp and the regular season, or the preseason and regular season. You can tackle. You can game plan. And for a young player like this who shouldn't be playing as much as he is, he gets exposed for not being ready. He's also not strong enough. That's another problem that he has. But, hey, I get it. He's got to play. The good thing is for the coaches and the personnel staff, you're getting an evaluation. He can run. He's won on coverage. There have been some blown coverages, I was told, against him where he got open. Okay, hey, it counts. I get it. It counts.
Yeah.
But, again, the hands, I don't understand the hands. Like, this is like, and I know Wentz is tough-minded, but I know quarterbacks, it just frustrates the hell out of them when guys don't catch the football. And that quote I read from Carson, his trust in Fulgham, the guy just got here.
I know. I do remember reporting in our post-draft pod that one thing about Hightower in college was they felt that he had not the best hands. So obviously it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you
So,
said, I remember
yeah.
you were the first to say they had the great football intelligence, that he really understood coverages and route running and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the
Which
lack
is clear.
of
He can get open.
yes, but he's just not strong enough, and
Right.
he's not dependable with the hands. But anyway, look, that's that.
Yeah. So what did you make of? I'm a little not on edge, but I know what's coming this week, and we're going to be on 97.5 The Fanatic, tonight, Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. And I feel like we're going to get a rash of calls about this. Jalen Hurts comes in, and he clearly supplies a spark.
I loved it.
And it was awesome how they used him. 2 runs that it got him about 26 yards, and then they tried the throw to Carson, throw back to Jalen, which only got them 3. But nonetheless, it showed the defense something that they had to be prepared for.
Exactly.
But where I don't love this is A, they barely did anything with him in the second half, and B, I'm bracing for now. We need to play Jalen Hurts a quarterback calls, which is going to happen. There's somebody in this week is going to say that Jalen Hurts needs to be the quarterback of this team.
No, well, that stuff. I just ignore the stuff when people say, "Oh yeah, he needs to be the Eagles quarterback." No, he doesn't. No one thinks that. Was it rational?
Well, but, no one rational, correct.
Yeah, and by the way, we got some Nick Foles stuff. I just muted them on Twitter. I shake my head. I'm like,
I didn't even see the Nick Foles.
I got to compliment me, and I don't respond to it. I just don't have. I'm just not going to. I don't do the Twitter beefs or the. Years ago, I used to get the arguments or debates with people. You're not going to win on Twitter.
You don't win on Twitter. I know that.
The smart fans are on our message board. They're so smart, and they
right.
I get the love for Nick Foles. He won you won your Eagles a Super Bowl. That's awesome. But there's a reason why he's been on 5 or 6 NFL teams. Come on.
Yeah, and now Hurts was on the field. I think only he might be on the field more, but in the second half, I know he was on the field for both touchdowns. He just had 0 to do with either of them. Right, he was on the field for the Miles.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that Sanders run, it doesn't happen with him out in the field without him being on the field.
I don't buy that for a second.
Dude, did you see it?
It was simple jet motion.
Did you see it? But did you just see I have to see the all-22.
It was
also
one defender who went with him. That was a well-blocked. You're not buying. I'm not buying it. If you put John Hightower there and have him run across the line of scrimmage, the defense has to do the same thing. Yeah. All right, go. I mean, they even replayed right after and said, the guy who I think it was Charles Davis, he said, what, this is really great blocking here more than anything. And I can't say one guy going with the guy in motion just changed the whole dynamic of their defense. But again, he was also on the field for the touchdown for the Carson Wentz sneak, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it. It's a change up. You need to do it. But the thing, coaches always tell me, you have to be careful with it. You can't do it all the time. Mm-hmm. Now the Saints with Taysom Hill, because he comes in, he'll come in and he's playing wildcat. I mean, that's what he does, and he'll just run it. He doesn't throw it very much. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have you lose the surprise element if you do it in every game. It's fine. I think you should do it, but you got to do it. Like I love the time that he did it. They needed a spark, and it worked. We could say all we want about it did or didn't, maybe from tape study, but it seemed to work. I would do it. And he could be electric in a certain way if you use him correctly. And I like it. But getting back to Wentz, they're going to get him killed. And it's not anyone's fault. These guys keep getting hurt. But what they're going to have to do is, A, sign a veteran off the street. There got to be guys out there. Donald Penn is out there, by the way. Journeyman tackle who could play left and right tackle. He's more of a left than a right. Mm-hmm. They got to get out. They got to help their quarterback and get some tackles. Probably get another veteran guard. Here's my question, because again, they're on a short week. And we'll see.
Not signing anybody this week. You can't sign anyone this week.
Well, no, you can't. Yeah. Right. Well, you can, but they won't be able to play.
That's my point.
Right.
Plus, you got the COVID. You got to wait a couple days for the test to come in.
Right. Yeah. So here's my question: if Pryor is able to get off the COVID list before the game, who do you start, Brown or Pryor?
Doesn't matter.
That's why honestly. I asked.
You know what? Honestly, here's my breakdown of it.
Yeah.
You might have to start Brown because you may need to use Matt Pryor as a backup offensive tackle. Yes. He may even need to start right tackle, to be honest with you, depending on what happens to Driscoll, because we know Brown is only a guard. So that might be your answer right there. It may be decided based on only positional versatility and not merit. Not that either one.
Yeah,
merits.
right. No, that's so right, because they're at the nitty gritty now. They don't have any choice for they need bodies now. They just need bodies first. Versatility set. They need bodies first. Who could we dress? Where can you play? Go.
Right.
Get out there.
There you go. All right, so we've talked about the offensive line. I mean, Carson had, Ron Jaworski was right. He said it to us. It's on our ITB TV podcast last week, or I'm sorry, YouTube channel last week, which we've also podcasted. Carson just has too many bodies. Even when he doesn't get hit, which he was hit a lot, but even when he doesn't get hit, he's constantly getting obstructed or has to duck and under and run to the right and run to the left. I mean, the number of times where he just got to drop back and look at the field and make a clean throw, like, go watch an NFL game around the league. I know that offensive line play isn't great, but you can find some quarterbacks just have at least, like 7 or 8 opportunities to go through their progressions and make a play without having to be rushed and hurried or people in their face. That may have happened 3 times against the Ravens. It's just not a functional way to be a quarterback and succeed. I know that they wound up scoring a couple of touchdowns there, but that just can't continue. Carson was lucky he only fumbled it once.
And didn't throw a pick. Yeah, you got to be able to step into your throws. It's not his fault. The one thing I like to see them do more, I didn't chart it. I'd love to see him roll out more, just to get a clean look. Because I'll tell you what, Deshaun. All right, so I just want to mention a couple injuries because people are asking me on Twitter, but I like to answer them on our show and not on Twitter. Give people value for being so loyal to us. We appreciate our numbers are fantastic, our pod numbers. So we're going to keep them up and reward everyone. The Sanders stuff, I'm not going to guess. I heard some stuff after the game, but I'm not going to guess.
Okay.
We'll see what Peterson says later today. Deshaun, look, here's the real story. 2 people who would know thought Deshaun was playing, okay, against this past game.
Wow.
Deshaun, it's really now up to Deshaun. There's no reason he shouldn't play against the Giants. I'd be shocked if he doesn't play. I'm kind of done. I don't guess on this stuff. I tell you, this is what I know.
Right.
From my sourcing.
So,
if he doesn't play, I'm throwing my hands up, and I'm probably going to be doing any reporting on him. I'm serious. Like, I've had enough of this. Like,
so
dude,
let me ask you. I want to be fair.
It's not a bad hamstring. Come on, play.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I want to be fair to him. If I saw what you're saying also backed up by Adam Schefter, he had a report that Deshaun is expected to play on Thursday.
Good.
So if he can tell you right now, or if he could tell you on Sunday that he's going to play on Thursday, right? Was he really at the point where he's like, oh, I can just tell that I only really need 2 days to be completely healthy?
He let people know that he was ready to go, or good look. He felt he would be ready to go maybe Thursday. Can't remember now, but it was either Thursday or Wednesday. But anyway, it was trending toward him playing. I mean, Peterson, listen to what he was saying. I mean, Doug. I don't know Doug personally, but it sure sounded like Doug was pretty optimistic as well. But hey, he didn't play, and I'll tell you what. If he play, let me tell you something. He's a game changer. And maybe they got to baby him. Maybe they can only play him 25 snaps just to make sure he gets to. Remember, they have the bye the following week, right? Wait, no,
they don't have the bye,
but they have a mini bye.
Time, yeah.
They have the so-called mini bye Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Rager, Jeff, as you reported a couple weeks ago. So, someone asked us to clarify this. So, just so we're clear here, all you said was he got his thumb, he got his cast off 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Was that
right? I've said it. I'll clarify it again. As far as the cast coming off his thumb, that was about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. All right. Okay. But the timetable for his return is not accelerated 2 weeks. It's still the same, which is probably going to be after the bye week. I forget who the first game they play after the bye, but I think we're looking in that time period for his return. So just because it's just the information is that he's a fast healer, and it's good that he was able to get the cast off before they anticipated. But there's still a period between then and now. Okay.
They play after the bye, the second of their little round robin against the Giants. It's this week, Giants. This week, the next week at home also against the Cowboys. the Cowboys. So 3 straight at home. Then after the bye, the Week 9 bye, that's when, by the way, we reported. I can't. I'm so there's so many injuries. I can't remember the hell we put this stuff out.
Yeah.
But I just know you and I both reported that he was going to be back after the bye. Like that was the target and they felt good about. Now, what I reported Sunday was that Goddard is targeting Week 8 versus the Cowboys. It doesn't mean he's playing then. That's just he'd like to be back by then. Latest the bye, after the bye, Week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Remember though, he's got a fractured ankle, man. That's a tough thing to come back from earlier.
Oh yeah.
Broken bones take like in the neighborhood of 6 weeks. So I don't know. We'll see. Look, we'll see if he can come back then. But
what's been my favorite thing to say about injuries, about guys coming back? What's been my favorite thing to say the last week, 2 weeks about expecting guys to come back?
I don't know. What did you say?
I keep saying, you don't even ever listen to me. We do a podcast.
No, I do, but
there's
certain ways you could say it. There's certain ways you could say it.
What I've been saying is it's great that certain guys who have been out are expected to come back, but every time we do a show or every time a game is played, 2 or 3 other guys get lost, so it winds up being net neutral. And I know it sounds funny that you're laughing, but it's been true. And it happened again in that game, right? Jack Driscoll went out. Miles Sanders went out. Zach Ertz went out. Did Malik Jackson also go out?
Yes, quadricep. Okay, so here's what – okay, before we get to the rest of the offense and then the defense, here are the injuries we're tracking for Thursday. Sanders' knee, D-Jack's hamstring, Jeffrey's foot surgery. Obviously, he's close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he's playing this week, though, short week. Zach Ertz' ankle, he taped it up. He couldn't finish. That's why you saw Jason Kroom, who Greg Cosell did it again. We asked him. He said he's an athlete. The guy he can move. Lane Johnson ankle, he's coming the surgery, the aggravating the surgery, the injury. Malik Jackson now with a quadriceps injury. Duke Riley didn't play with a rib. Avonte Maddox. I did report on our show on Sunday that with his ankle, he was not close to playing. It was still bothering him. You could, he didn't look 100% when he was moving. So it's hard to imagine he'll play this week, but never know. We'll see if he can play. And then Kayvon Wallace got hurt in the first quarter early. He never returned. That's not good for him. Folks, if you leave the game early in the first quarter, you rarely play the next week. And they're on a short week here. It would certainly surprise me if he'd play. And remember, Epps didn't play with that rib injury. Safety now, they're beat up. Jeez.
Yeah, and like I said on the pregame show, and a partridge in a pear tree after all those injuries. So that's my point is I no longer do the, this guy will be back at that point and that guy will be back.
Net neutral, right?
The way this is, net neutral.
Plus
sometimes net negative. You got 2 guys back, you lost 3.
Right, you got 2 back, but you lost 4. It's this is now one thing because we get this a lot, and I don't know how to answer it. People think that, okay, it's the medical staff's fault. Well, how is it the medical staff's fault if the guys are getting hurt in the game? I don't know how you quantify this.
Everybody in the NFL is having massive injuries.
Yeah.
The Giants now have 2 wide. I don't know what's going to happen with Darius Slayton. He got hurt in that game. But they didn't have Sterling Shepard. They didn't have Golden Tate. Or no, they didn't have somebody else. I mean, they were basically down to 2 wide receivers for the game. And, the Broncos we know about. I mean, the Ravens were pretty healthy, but they're the exception to the rule. Everybody's doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what people want, but anyway, so we talked to Fulgham he's a stud. This kid. It's over now. He needs to be their starting X the rest of the season. I don't care how much Alshon Jeffrey makes.
Right.
They have to be they can't force anything. We don't know if Alshon could run anymore. I mean, not that he was ever fast anyway. This kid is a baller. I love what Carson said. He absolutely is a baller. This is right now, Geoff. Now, you don't want to run with stuff yet and saying this guy's going to be a star, but he has every attribute. High character. He's a little bit older. He's 25, but high character, long, can run, has a trust of the quarterback. Is there anything else I'm missing, Mosher?
No, I mean, other than maybe 4.2 speed, which would be amazing at his size. No, and he doesn't need it because his catch radius is great.
And guess what? Rager will do that when he comes back. Hightower could do that.
I agree. The future of your wide receiver
Deshaun could do that if he ever plays.
Yeah, the future of your wide receiver core could be Fulgham at your X and Jalen Rager at your Z. You can move him around a little bit, And
Ward slot, too.
Yeah, Ward can play the slot. I mean, Hightower can battle as he matures, and certainly you can sign a veteran wide receiver to help out just in case these guys get hurt or one
That's
of
it.
them's not the real deal.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be going and spending, $30 million
No.
on a wide receiver.
No.
No, it doesn't have to happen.
I clear out Deshaun and Alshon. I go Fulgham X, Rager, move Z plus Y slot. Then I use Ward also as a different, more of a possession slot. Hightower, vertical slot, move Z. They got so much versatility. And by the way, as Cosell pointed out to us, Fulgham hasn't lined. Yes, he's their main X. Peterson moved him around a lot in the previous game, so that's great. He's got positional versatility. You can move him. Tell you what, man, this group's looking pretty good for the future if they could stay on the field.
It is. And, you can always keep adding to the position in the draft to get a third, fourth round pick if you want to bring in, say, an explosive guy. That's what the Steelers do. A lot of people didn't think. I mean, they had Juju, they had Deontay Johnson, and they had the kid Washington. And they've scored a decent amount of points when Roethlisberger was their quarterback. And then they went and drafted Claypool in the second round. That's what good teams do. They keep adding through the drafts. You don't feel compelled to have to pay a guy.
Take the best guy. And they targeted him. Kevin Colbert said on Sirius, their GM, that they actually targeted him for almost 2 years, and they kept their mouth shut. It didn't get leaked to the media how much they liked him. I thought it was really interesting. So, look, the Eagles are actually set up pretty well for the future because of this Fulgham. It's like he dropped out of the sky.
And by the way, Chris Watkins might wind up being a pretty good explosive.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see him on Sunday, but he could run. He could run too. So look, they're actually, folks, as Geoff set this up, they're actually in very good shape for the future at the wide receiver position.
In the future, right. All right, look, we've been telling you about PHLSportsNation.com. I hope you're checking them out. They are always enhancing the fans' experience with their coverage of all 4 Philly teams like nobody else. Great content. Check them out on Twitter at PHLSportsNation, or just go to the website, phlsportsnation.com. All right, let's pause real quick for another word from another great sponsor. All right, let's get into the defense, Adam. Very up and down kind of game. The first thing that comes to my mind that I want to talk about is you're right about it's difficult to tell who's playing at times with TV copy. But did you hear the Will Parks name mentioned very often?
Second half, yeah, I did, but I have to look at the snap counts. But yeah, I didn't remember. This is his first game back.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to play the whole game or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
and what they did was Parks did start the game. They went with They went with Big Nickel.
Right, and Wallace got hurt.
Yes, and then Singleton and Nate Gary, of course, started. So the way it was explained to me was this. I outlined a little bit on the pregame show, but I could give you a little bit more now. They don't want him just to do what Malcolm Jenkins did. They do want him on tight ends. Now, I can't blame him for that. That play that Jackson made, a little dance to throw it to Nick Boyle, was pretty damn cool, I got to tell you. That was awesome. He did a limbo. It was really cool. I know the Eagle fans don't like it, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Parks, over time, he's going to, he's got a chance to impact. Cosell set it up pretty well. Greg's a guy said, look, he thought he's a perfect fit. He really liked Parks' tape. I still struggle. Why didn't Parks said that he had an opportunity to sign with the Vikings or somewhere else for a little bit more money. Okay, but he chose here, and we'll see if it works out. They got plenty of time, and he does add physicality. We'll see what the tape tells us and from the people we speak with. But the good thing is they didn't give up any big plays downfield. Yes, the run game of Jackson beat them, certainly did, and Mark Ingram got hurt. No, he was very limited to the game, and that's why Dobbins came in. And they tried Dobbins; it didn't work. Whatever they tried, they were looking for. I can't remember. It was either a screen pass.
It was a screen, yeah.
Yeah, and the Eagles blew it up, but they didn't do the kind of ghost motion or the bit. I thought they'd get the Eagles a lot on misdirection. Well, they got him in the Lamar run game, but they didn't get him on the receivers on end arounds or specialty plays.
Right.
I was surprised at that. So, look, again, as you set up at the start of this, Jackson got him in the run game. That was really the difference to me in the game. As you said, look, they gave up 30, but it didn't seem that bad. It was more the offense absolutely killed them in the first half, set up the defense with bad field position.
Yeah, the Eagles had 3 sacks. Brandon Graham had 2. Malik Jackson had 1. I thought Malik played well before he got hurt. He was getting some inside penetration. Graham Graham had 5 solo tackles.
He
Vinny
played
went in there
well.
and made a play. Yeah, again, like I know they gave up a lot of points. I thought there were times where Fletcher Cox also flashed. His name was mentioned. You could see him moving some people. So that's
Yeah,
for a while there. You've been wondering where Fletcher Cox was. But
sure.
in the end, it's not enough. Brandon Graham has
Josh
5
Sweat
sacks now.
too.
Yeah,
I'm
Josh
sorry, who
Sweat
does?
also. Brandon
Yeah, he
Graham
showed
has
up. He made some. Who has 5 sacks?
he has 5 sacks.
Who
Brandon
does?
Graham.
Brandon Graham does. Okay, yeah, he had a very
Yeah.
good game. Nate Gary led him on tackles, combined tackles with 9. He definitely. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Alex
all
Singleton
10
did.
yards down the field. No,
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
kidding.
no. Alex Singleton did. I'm sorry, nine combined tackles.
Yeah.
He could play. Like that guy could play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of him. When Edwards comes back, I know in base, Gary should not be in. I know they don't play a lot of base. Obviously, it depends on the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But even in nickel, if they think Singleton could cover, and whenever Riley comes back, I'm at the point. I'm so desperate. If I'm the coaches, I know Flagel's like he treats Nick Gary like his son. Like Jim Schwartz needs to micromanage the situation. Just go with Singleton and Duke Riley and see what happens. Just do something. Could you try
It's
something
possible.
else?
Did you notice Davion Taylor got in for a couple of plays?
No.
He
Yeah,
did.
you know what he did? He had 2 tackles. I'm sorry.
He did
Yeah.
have 2 tackles.
Yeah, but things I didn't know what number that was.
I know, but I don't remember. I remember seeing him on the field at one point, but I don't know if he was running on or running off. I just noticed the odd number that you said.
Yeah, he played on defense. So
Yeah, he
so
played. Made 2 tackles.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, he made 2 tackles even. So
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he plays on defense because he could run.
right.
I mean, again, desperate times call for desperate measures. They shut down Mark Andrews. That was the shocker. Now, did they need to throw? Look, Lamar Jackson is clearly not on his game anymore in terms of passing the football. Greg Cosell talked about it in our pregame. Lamar, I love watching them, but something has been missing from their offense this season. Miles Boykin's not ready for prime time. He's not been a factor like they thought he would be, and probably because he didn't have that offseason. Lamar didn't have it, and Hollywood Brown didn't have it, although Hollywood's had a good season. There's something missing from their past game, but I also give the Eagles defense credit. They did a good job. Overall, again, people can say, how can you say that with 30 points? I know that, but they didn't get beat in the past game, so that's a good thing.
Right. That's really what I'm kind of my takeaway is. By the way, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code ITB for a special offer when you sign up. That's code ITB for a special offer when you sign up only at DraftKings Sportsbook. That was kind of my takeaway is that I don't remember seeing a ton of missed tackles in the secondary. I don't feel like anybody got beat overly badly. The biggest concern you had was, will this team get fooled by misdirection, by play action, by motion? I thought for sure the Ravens were going to pull a few end arounds out of their bag of tricks, and there really was not that. I mean, I thought the Eagles, for the most part, looked more disciplined, and at the end of the day, the Ravens just made a couple of plays. Remember, one of the Ravens' touchdowns came on a very short field, right? Carson fumbled on the read option or whatever he was doing, scrambling to the left side.
Yeah.
He fumbled. They made a couple, just normal. They took the ball down the field, and then I think it was the Gus bus, ran it in
Gus
for
Edwards.
Gus Edwards ran it in for a 7-yard touchdown. Now you can say, well, look, the Eagles' red zone defense remains awful, and I'll say, sure, fine. I think the Ravens were 2 for 2, but you got gifted 7 points there by a turnover, and your offense, by only generating minus 7 yards after the first 6 drives, kept putting your defense out on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I hate to sound like Greg Williams here, but the reality is the defense was on the field.
I like how you threw that in there.
What do you expect? I mean, this is a decent Ravens team. So I actually was not discouraged defensively. I know it's hard to say when you give up 30 points, but I think that there were a lot of contributing factors.
Yeah, look, their D line, even if Jackson misses time here with his quadriceps injury, they're going to be good shape on the D line. The linebackers, we just outlined what they ought to do when everybody's healthy at linebacker. Corner, if they could do anything at the trade deadline, they got. I know it's impossible. Who's giving up an outside corner? But I'll take a guy like Rasul Douglas. A guy's got flaws, but he fits their scheme. Man, I'll take anybody at this point. It's Craig again. Craig James is a guy who had a great training camp. He played. I mean, I can tell you that he really did play well in training camp, practice well, whatever you want to call it. He was nowhere to be seen in that game. I don't know, man. But I would say this. You're right. The D line looked good. Linebackers didn't get crushed on misdirection. There were some mental errors, obviously, against Jackson, but they didn't. I never felt like, okay, they had two back-breaking plays from him, but I didn't feel like, and I agree with your assessment here, I didn't feel like they got crushed by him. Like last year, it was it was must-see TV with Lamar, and like this year it has not been. He's not running as much, but I didn't feel like they were so discombobulated that Roman had him going like this and he was going like that. That didn't happen in this game.
By the way, the broadcaster, who was it? It was Charles Davis and who? Right?
And who was the play-by-play guy?
I forget. It's really irrelevant because I don't know if you picked up on this, for the second straight week and in Eagles game, former St. Louis Cardinals submariner Kent Tekulve was mentioned.
Oh yeah. Oh, and former Philly, by the way. No,
and former Philly, right?
But it was actually Pittsburgh. He played for Pittsburgh. He never played for St. Louis.
I'm thinking of Dan Quisenberry. I'm sorry, you're right. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, But Pirate. Kent Tekulve was a sinker. He was the underhand, almost would hit the ground.
Action, right?
Right.
How does he get mentioned 2 weeks in a row?
Wait a minute. Was it Kenny Albert?
It was last week. It was Kenny Albert. Yeah, this week it was somebody new though, right?
I don't remember, man. I know. I thought the guy Washburn did a good job. The sideline guy, I thought he did a very good job getting updates from Doug. Well, it's funny because he said that Doug told him they had plenty of plays in for him and he could do it. For Slay, and then they didn't. Slay. Hurts. I'm sorry, Hurts. They didn't. That was the weird thing.
I had a weird feeling that as soon as Evan Washburn said that Doug said he's going to go all out with Jalen Hurts in the second half, that meant he was not going to use him at all.
That was weird.
I really felt that there was some reverse psychology going on there. I'm glad I was onto that. My radar is good for that kind of stuff.
There you go.
All right, Adam, autumn's in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure you that you don't carve your pumpkins when you're getting your grooming, right? And you know what we mean by carving pumpkins. I don't have to spell it out. In fact, Manscaped's on a mission to change the way you approach caring for those pumpkins. And the great news is they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and Australia. You know that we have a lot of listeners from around the globe. It's not just America. We have a ton overseas. So for all of our UK, Canada, and Australia friends, be happy that Manscaped is making stuff for you. And, of course, let's not forget about the best trimmer for your butt, balls, and body. You got the Lawnmower 3.0 with the ceramic blade, the replaceable ceramic blade, with the advanced skin-safe technology that helps reduce all those grooming accidents. They also got the new Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer.
That I want.
I tell people all the time that stuff is good, yeah.
I am getting that because, folks, those of you listening over 50 know this, like me. Hair starts coming out of your ears and your nose.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of going on Amazon having to buy stuff. I want this Weed Whacker, man. I'm getting it.
Well,
done.
I
need that. Give me that promo code, brother. What is it?
Well, you know the promo code. It's ITB, all right?
Easy.
And remember, you can also get the Crop Care Kit, which includes the Crop Preserver, which is the ball deodorant that we all talk about. Everyone knows those pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go very well together, hand in hand. Then you've got your Crop Cleanser Body Wash, which is that full body wash that you can use on your hair. And, of course, the Crop Mop Ball Wipes. And you never know when that opportunity comes where you're going to need to wipe up a little bit down below because you don't want to be stinking sitting around that Thanksgiving dinner table. And if you suffer, and I'll raise my hand and say this is me, from the stinky foot, because you're standing around all day or you're on your feet, they got a great product called the Foot Duster. It's a foot deodorant. It's actually a free gift that they're offering. It's a cooling tea tree oil that offers a pleasant experience for those really stanky feet like mine. And it allows you to show off your shoes in confidence. Last thing is that the Manscaped has a refined cologne, which is a very cost-effective way to smell clean and fresh for your big event. And of course, the crop cleanser hair and body wash was designed with aloe vera and sea salt so that your skin is clean and fresh and moisturized, very invigorating. These formulations are all vegan for you, Adam, of course, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free, whatever paraben is. So you know that your manhood is in very good hands. So get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com and use that code ITB. I tell you all the time, so does Adam, you will not beat 20% off and free shipping. So go to manscaped.com, use the code ITB, and make your balls a priority this fall. I like the way that rhymes.
ITB.
Priority this fall. ITB, 20% off. All right, Adam, who will be your Manscaped man of the game for this game?
Oh, boy, that's a good question. You know what? Carson Wentz.
That was mine in the pregame show. My pregame Manscaped.
Okay.
Game.
It sure as hell didn't look good in the first half, but his heart, he is willing this team, despite all of the injuries, Geoff. This guy's mental toughness is something to behold. You should be proud, Eagle fans, that he's your quarterback. The turnovers are a little bit worrisome. That's got to be better. That's one thing he knows he's got to be better with. It's not as bad as it was earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have the fumble. But overall, he's getting better. The last 3 weeks, he's improved incrementally, and you should be proud he's your quarterback. The guy's tough as nails, and he's really terrific, and he's got much better. If you look at the overall numbers, it doesn't tell you remotely the story. He's playing with a bunch of backup linemen, receivers who shouldn't be playing, tight ends who shouldn't be playing, but it is what it is. When you bring your team back like this to score nearly 60 points against two of the NFL's best defenses, you're playing pretty good football.
Well, that is absolutely true, and I can't argue with Carson Wentz having a game. Do you know that the Ravens had about 350 total yards of offense, which is not, exorbitant by any stretch of the mean, right? 350 yards of total offense, I believe. Pretty – no, hold on. Wait, did I have that right? Yeah, 355 yards of total offense.
Well, the rushing killed them, yeah.
Right. Did you know that – I was about to say, did you know that Lamar Jackson accounted for – 296 of it.
Yeah,
is that unbelievable or what?
I know.
That alone.
But the 108 in the ground killed them.
It did.
I never felt like their pass game was great. Again, the Eagles did a good job of keeping everything in front of them.
Right.
The Lamar last year was, he was electric. There's no doubt he was electric on the ground. It was something to see.
Mm-hmm.
But him and Mark Andrews last year, Hollywood Brown was never over his Liz Frank injury. Him and Mark, and Andrews is also doing well this season. But last season, they were hooking up. They were getting plays downfield because you're so concerned with him running that Andrews run right down in that seam. But the Eagles had him scouted pretty well, and I give them credit. And again, this is, folks, they're getting better, and that's all you could ask for. It is. I know you're frustrated. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing Justin Jefferson. I hate to even bring it up because the Vikings are terrible.
Yeah, they're bad.
But he's putting up. He's putting up major numbers, but folks, they're an awful football team.
Right.
They've thrown way more than they want to. But okay, Jefferson's doing great. Yeah. Let Rager get his time, okay? Yes. Then start evaluating.
Right. Well, to get back to the point on Lamar, though, when you have 290 total yards and your whole team only has 360, I give you the Manscaped man of the game for that. I was going to go with Fulgham, but I thought, you know what? Lamar, even in a bad day, had really, really good numbers.
He wasn't bad. He just was –
yeah, that's true. On an average day, yeah.
Right. His runs killed him. Two were backbreakers. The score was just like when it works, man, the room that they create by misdirection or getting them to go one way and he goes the other is remarkable. He's fun, man. He's one of my favorite players. I love watching him go.
All right, before we get out of here, I want to bring this up to you. The trade deadline we've talked about coming up in a couple of weeks. The Eagles are going to play 2 more games, I think, before it. At this point, I can't understand what kind of call that Howie would make to a team because he's got like 6 areas that he could upgrade. So what is the most realistic type of position and player that he would target at this point in the trade market?
He's going to be – well, I'll tell you what. We've talked about this before. We haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks. Well, actually, we've talked. A couple of people pointed out on Twitter that they did make a mistake on not signing Carlos Hyde. There's no doubt. I know he's hurt, but with the Seahawks, but that's irrelevant. They need, and now with here's the thing. as we speak Monday morning here, we don't know where Sanders is. I can't imagine he's going to play this week.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem: Boston Scott has not looked good this season. The reason why they're on hide is because remember when I said months ago they needed an answer if Sanders couldn't play? They don't have an answer. This is not Boston Scott's not an answer, Geoff.
Yeah, I just don't think running back is the spot where they're that's why they're losing games. I think
no, but but again, okay, yes, but now if Sanders is out for a bit,
oh yeah, well that's a
problem, man.
That would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean
But I don't know if you're going to get. I guess what I'm asking is if you're Howie and you're giving up a draft pick, what kind of player are you expecting return for an ROI here? Are you talking about a linebacker, a cornerback?
It could be any of them. It could be anyone who they think fits these schemes, offensive, defense. Now, It is a West Coast offense. They got to know. They got to learn. Be able to learn. See, they cannot have another Golden Tate situation. He was a bad fit. Good football player. It wasn't what they needed. It was duplication.
Right.
That was a mistake. Okay, I know he's good, but it didn't work. I mean, a couple impactful plays, but overall, it was not. It was nothing like when the Niners traded for Emmanuel Sanders. That was impactful. Like he's a guy that is really good football player. Special, I don't want to say, but he's very good and he's still getting it done. You're not going to find those guys, but someone. I'm going to back off receiver. Okay, they don't need to do anything. They're going to get guys back. Live with the guys that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I would say guard, tackle, running back, cornerback, linebacker.
Is Joe Tooney going to be available? Well, he's on the franchise tag, right?
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, exactly. You can't spend that. You can't.
No. Well, you're talking about half of the season now, so you're paying half that price, but it's still a lot of money. I'm just, I'm trying to think of bad teams. Is there any guard on Jacksonville or the Chargers?
And then obviously you target Houston. Yeah, exactly. You target Houston.
Right.
The Eagles targeted Miami with Ajayi in 17.
Yeah.
You just target teams that probably will have a fire sale. And you just what I'll do for our show on Wednesday, because I do a radio in 8 NFL markets. I'm getting my list together, so I'm glad you're reminding me. I'll give you the names of players that I'm hearing that potentially could be available. John Ross, someone asked me. I know for a fact he's not available, despite them benching him. I mean, they don't want to trade him. The Eagles have had interest in him in the past, but they've never won. The Bengals hate trading. They just don't trade.
Yeah, and again, is he helping you in the area you most need? Yes, he's an explosive receiver. He can help you. He catches the balls that Hightower wouldn't, but that's not going to help.
He's been hurt a lot too.
Defense has given up over 27 points in 4 of the 6 games you played. So
right.
All right, I'll have you check on that. We'll come up with a list. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit tonight when we're on 97.5 The Fanatic between 6 and 8 p.m. So make sure you check out Inside the Birds Radio on 97.5 The Fanatic, Monday nights 6 to 8 p.m. That will do it for this episode of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in Eagles intel. We always thank our producer, Hunter Brody. You can go to YouTube and check out his channel, Sports Talk with Broads, or you can check him out on Twitter @Broads81. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the bird.